you know, obviously Weavile is one of those speed-based characters, and especially since we're going into this next match against another zoner versus...
this is the same one.
Yeah, the very Weavile that knocked you out. What sort of movement options are we talking about? Because with Libre, we have options like double team into quick attack, you know, double team into dash step canceling, things like that. But what can we expect from this sort of matchup? What options from a movement standpoint are we looking for from the Weavile?
Well, he gets a lot of mix-ups with his Ice Shard, especially in the sense that he can move any option he wants. His dive kick he can cancel out into another option, and he's really quick too. Another thing that Weavile just really strives on, he gets burst probably faster than the entire cast, which that plays huge dividends for him.
Wow, and we're going off into this first round, and already GameProdigy, he looks a little terrified. I don't blame him, because something that I've been noticing from Toon.S is he's not predictable. He's playing neutral in like really, really smart ways, mixing up whether he's going to be going for grabs, whether he's going for attacks, and honestly, that last game was just a complete slaughter. It was completely one-sided from the word go. And GP is going to be taking a minute here trying to figure out what exactly he needs to change up.
Yeah, and it's very similar pace to like when I played him too, because he perfected me actually the first round. The first game of the first round. And,
wow.
I was lucky enough to win the first game, but after that, it was just complete download.
Download complete. There. Yeah, and one thing that's worth noting is Gardevoir is a character who just has so many great options in regards to countering options. But what we're seeing from Toon.S is because he's aware of this, he's going for a lot of grabs, and he's actually getting a lot of mileage off of that.
I think Gardevoir is very strong at a far distance type of field, but she's also, I think her biggest issues is playing at a mid-game percent, because she doesn't have the best time reacting to those type of mix-ups that a character like Weavile can throw out.
You know, it feels like, from a mid-range, her projectiles just take a little bit too long to really be casted out.
And the same deal can go with a lot of her basic attacks, too.
And wow, Toon.S just cutting up GP right now. GP, though, getting out of the grab option, but right there again, caught by that fully charged counter. That's going to be some big damage, but GP able to just attack right out of that grab. But the burst comes into play, and we're going to be seeing Evoltal as well. If this isn't blocked, it's going to be some really big damage.
No, I mean, that was really... Like, that Ice Shard right there was huge, because it jumped away from the beam. Okay, that's what I was expecting him to throw out.
Oh, and that's going to be the first game going in favor of Toon.S. GP getting shut down really there. Again, when I look at Gardevoir, you have a character who has really good offensive options from a full screen sort of distance, and then up close and personal has really good defensive options because of the variety of counters that she has. But what we're seeing from Toon.S is he does a good job of closing the distance, and then whenever he gets up close and personal, he does a good job of constantly mixing up what he's going to do. I mean, I couldn't call it, GP couldn't call it, and the only thing that's for certain is the fact that Game 1 is going so strongly in favor of Toon.S. But now we're seeing the change from GP. He's going to be switching things up to Charizard. And while I've seen him play Charizard quite a few times at FX, I know for a fact this is the secondary. So your thoughts real quick on this swap towards a much slower character, granted much stronger as well.
As the most simple I can put it is he's really looking for power. Charizard also has like lingering hitboxes with a lot of his burst effect, but I honestly haven't seen this matchup. Like it would work pretty well against characters like Shadow Mewtwo and even against Jolts. But Weavile is such a different animal when it comes to just the speed and the amount of the amount of unpredictability that we're seeing from Toon.S as well.
And right there, that speed really coming into play. But oh, now I know exactly why he's going for that Charizard. That Seismic Toss is such a great option to punish Toon.S, especially given how many times he's been getting away with those counters in the dual phase.
There goes the dive kick right there into the false swipe.
Oh yeah,
the basic strings coming right there.
Ooh.
Gonna get the burst from Eevee. That gives him a little bit of HP as well as attack boost.
Yeah.
And I was sitting at 1 HP.
Now this is curious for me. I'm looking at supports right now, and we're noticing the Fennekin coming out. Would it maybe make more sense to switch things up and go for a Molga here, or is he really wanting to ensure that whenever Toon.S comes up close, he has the Fennekin available just to block any potential damage that comes out.
I feel like Fennekin, it's in itself, is just a superior counter, especially with a character against a character like Weavile. Weavile can like hang up and just delay Emolga's move right there, but Fennekin is such a great defensive option, especially against a character as slow as Charizard.
You know, while as Charizard you get a lot whenever your opponents are up close and personal, sometimes you need that breathing room. So it makes sense that he's still continuing with Fennekin. And wow, talk about the turnaround in this game. GP on the verge of maybe getting a perfect game. We're going to be seeing the Eevee coming out, but here comes Fennekin as well to deal with that Icicle Crash.
He's looking for a seismic toss into
no seismic toss, but that grab was more than enough. GP with a perfect to take that round, snatching it right up. And again, for this game, what we really need to see from Toon.S is a lot of changes in regards to how he utilizes the counter. While it worked really well against Gardevoir, because of how scary Seismic Toss is, it can really be the option that could actually end your entire tournament life.
Oh yeah, no, most definitely. And Charizard, you know, being that power hitter, it's able to combo into moves like Seismic Toss.
And because Charizard is such a power hitter, like you mentioned before, that makes it so that Weavile's speed is kind of negated. Because speed is one of those options that you really use to get around your opponent's projectiles, get up close and personal. But that's exactly where Charizard really wants you. We're noticing that Toon.S, though, he's unfazed by this. He's getting a lot of wins in that duel phase, and now going back into duel, but does get grabbed by this Seismic Toss. It's going to be a lot of damage. He can't afford to get hit by another one from this point onwards. He still has burst. He's waiting, but GP getting the counter. It's going to be a lot. Oh, great spacing, but it wasn't enough. The way he was able to just get barely out of range of the Seismic Toss, I thought he would have a chance to punish, but it's also very possible that GP used that as a bait because he instantly went into counter right after the whiff to deal with the potential attack. So now we're going on to Game 3. This Charizard pick was able to really send this series towards the home stretch. Terry, your thoughts?
I'm thinking it's just, I think right now GameProdigy kind of has him where he wants him with the type of performance, but you know, we can always see the adaptability that comes from this character. One thing that Toon.S needs to start doing is respecting his counter, because he's really getting beaten out by GameProdigy's counter, and it just does a ton of damage in itself.
Man, sometimes you just really like pushing buttons, especially with a character like Weavile. I mean, the fact that you can use options like agility to cancel into so many extended combo strings just makes it a fun move to do. Wow, big damage, but we're going to be seeing the burst coming out from Toon.S. He doesn't have a whole lot of HP to recover. It's going to be GP who's going to need to make a big play, and I think that counter might be the start of something great. Ooh,
with the super right there.
Yeah,
GameProdigy has the Fennekin too. But like again, he's not really respecting either of his counters, especially the punching one. I'm not sure what that move's called, but he's you know, he'll just try to, you know, he'll do his regular counter and then he'll try to punish, and then he'll just throw out the second counter.
The fire punch.
Yeah, the fire.
Yeah, fire punch. Yeah. And now we're seeing the Emolga actually coming out instead of the Fennekin, like you mentioned before. He's feeling confident, I feel, in this round. He does have his Synergy Burst ready to go. But I think, honestly, the big turning point for this round is now Toon.S, because he doesn't have access to counter, he's just pushing so many buttons, and wow.
Yeah, that's it. That is a ton of damage. But yeah, excellent turnaround. This is kind of noticeable from GameProdigy, but I feel like his Charizard